Tom Neves.
Billy can win! Billy can win!
Now, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Well, here we are. It is, I'll tell you what, Drew, I liked it better when it was 87, not 47. I mean, what the heck? Let me get me back to where were we? Weren't we just at summer just a second ago?
Fair enough.
Yeah, I could do without the weather last night also. Although I felt that it all turned out to be a great night. It wasn't a great sports day overall. If you're a Cardinals fan, you didn't like it. If you're a City fan and you're excited this morning waking up, you should be. And I think that, that product is just going to get better and better and better. That was a great response last night by City against a team that was really good all year. City had dropped a couple in a row, and they came out flying. What a game. What a performance. What a statement by St. Louis City SC. You heard the highlights this morning on KMOX. We've been playing them for you all morning long. Let's get a couple more, and then we'll get into the Cardinals in just a moment. But here they are, St. Louis City SC. Yesterday, taking on Cincinnati, and this game was delayed because of lightning and because of a tornado warning, and it extended all the way until 9:49. That's when they started this game. At 9:52, this happened.
About 15 yards outside the box. Biz went toward the spot. Giacchini went for the header. Now it's dropped. Oh, baby! He scores! Jared Stroud! 1-0 City leads. 3 minutes in. That ball was getting hammered like an out-of-pocket hardware store holiday party. Holy Moses! City back on the board.
Joey Zanaboni, Dale Shilley with the call on Y98 FM. I don't know what Joey's talking about half the time, but the other half I liked a lot. The great soccer call. He has this one as well.
Left side toward the box is Nelson. Gets through his former team. Center in for Giacchini. Steps over one, fires his shot, deflects back in there. Yeah! In the back of the cage. 2-0 City leads. Edward Leuven melting faces like a microwave full of Justin Bieber action figures.
That one I got a little bit better than the first one. The goal by Leuven, and it's 2-0. This highlight I like because both broadcasters yell at the exact same time. Here it is.
Bounce into the corner for Stroud. Jared.
Oh! In the middle. A header ends up in the back. And City's up 3-0.
Kyle Hebert with the goal. That in extra time in the first half. Goals from Stroud, Leuven, Hebert. It's 3-0. City leading Cincinnati 3-0. Cincinnati had only given up 4 goals all season going into this game. Here it comes, early second half.
Outside toward midfield. City sweeps it forward. Flicking on for Giacchini. Penalty. Oh, yeah! Giacchini! He scores! It's 4-0 City!
And before he had a chance to celebrate that, this.
Leuven centering a Cincy head, reads it. Dismissed but not completely. Rasmus up! Hit the goalie! The box is in! 5-0! Rasmus up! Lasering it home like a mail order hair removal kit! Fired it off the metal, it banged back off of Celentano and went in. City with a season-high 5.
Roman Celentano, my IU brother. He went to Indiana University, was a terrific goaltender for the Hoosiers, but last night he was our enemy as City scores 5 times and wins the game 5-1. They improved to 6-2. They have 18 points. They're the number 1 team in Major League Soccer. Lutz Pfannenstiel is on the way at 11:15. But before that, coming up soon, we will dig back into the City game, and I'll talk about the experience of dealing with the storm protocol and everything that happened yesterday, including a terrific effort by City. And we'll hear what Coach Bradley Carnell had to say after the match. Meanwhile, the Cardinals' experience did not go as well. The Cardinals lost the game yesterday by a final of 6-3, 3-3 game, 10th inning. You've probably heard about this by now. Jordan Hicks is in. That's out of necessity. The Cardinals have a number of relievers that were not available. Most of that has to do with the fact that the starters have not gone deep enough. The arms have been used. Jordan Hicks was one of the last available. Andrew McCutchen.
On its way, and that ball is hit high in the air to left field. Backing up is Carlson. He looks up, and that one's long gone. A 2-run home run for Andrew McCutchen. And the Pirates take a 5-3 lead in the 10th.
And it was still 5-3, and Hicks is still in there in the 10th.
Infield in, hoping to cut this run off. The 1-0 pitch from Hicks is grounded to the right side. That's a base hit. Past a diving Donovan. It was off the tip of his glove, and that scores Joe. And it's now 6-3 Pittsburgh.
6-3 was the final. The Cardinals did threaten in the bottom of the 10th. Nolan Gorman ends up lining out to second base to end a threat. The Pirates escaped 6-3, but the Cardinals really cave in this one. Ryan Helsley gave up a run in the 8th inning. It was charged to Chris Stratton, who actually pitched really well in relief after Steven Matz went 110 pitches in 5 2/3. The Cardinals try to keep this thing alive. They do. They take a 3-2 lead on a Goldschmidt walk with the bases loaded. But then the run given up by Helsley, again, charged to Stratton. He finishes the 8th, finishes the 9th, but Hicks comes in the 10th, and you heard right there, he threw a slider, his 7th consecutive slider to McCutchen, not able to command his fastball. Ollie Marmol, the manager of the Cardinals, will join us in just a few minutes. That's a tough one to take, as the Cardinals also are really struggling with runners in scoring position. They're just not able to cash in offensively either, but it does come back to starting pitching. Just a lot of things going on. Ollie got ejected from the game about arguing balls and strikes. We'll ask him about that and more coming up. It's 10:13, Sports on a Sunday morning, sponsored by Gray Bar. Battlehawks play today at 2 o'clock. Cardinals play today at 1:10. Downtown will be buzzing with 75,000 fans. You ready for that? After yesterday's big game for City. It's all next on KMOX.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to The Dave Glover Show and all the news, talk, sports, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Jules on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches on site. Jules on Hampton is a premier jeweler with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jules on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches. Bring your collectibles and clocks, sports memorabilia, and figurines too. Jules on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them at 314-752-5000. That's 314-752-5000. So if you need some extra cash, looking for that one-of-a-kind piece, make Jules on Hampton your first stop. Jules on Hampton in St. Louis Hills.
Cardinals fans, baseball is back.
Down the line! Does it stay fair? You bet! It's a slammer!
Catch every pitch from every St. Louis Cardinals game live with News Radio 1120 KMOX on the free Odyssey app.
That's gone! Dylan Carlson!
The voices you know, the team you love.
It is Goner for Arenado.
Your St. Louis Cardinals, your Odyssey. Download the free Odyssey app today.
Let the backyard get-togethers begin. That is after the Craftsman at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Build your dream deck or your custom sunroom or your beautiful pergola. Carol Daniel here. Chesterfield Fence and Deck built our bronze aluminum fence, and it is still standing, still gorgeous, still framing our backyard beautifully, and still keeping the geese out. I love the wonderful customer service, and you will too. They'll come to your house, they'll measure, they'll even bring examples of the product they plan to use on your screen room or your retaining wall or your vinyl fence. It's a free in-home estimate and free project design at no obligation. Transform your backyard, my friends, and transform your family with a call to Chesterfield Fence and Deck, 636-532-4054, or see pictures of their work online at chesterfieldfence.com. In the month of April, mention my name, Carol Daniel, and you get 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best. next.
Welcome back to the Graybar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to the show. It is 10:16, and one of the best things about Sunday morning is a chance to talk some ball with Oliver Marmol. The Cardinals manager is with us this morning from his office at Busch Stadium. Good morning, Ollie.
Good morning. How we doing?
Doing pretty well. Through 15 games, we have a record of 6-9 for your club, and we'll talk about all of that and kind of get into all of that. I just, again, appreciate the fact that we've worked this out, that you can join us before you visit with all the media. You're going to talk to the TV and radio crews. You talk to the writers. You talk to the radio and TV reporters out in the dugout. It's a busy morning for you every pregame, isn't it?
It is, but it's part of the gig, and I actually enjoy it.
Well, I know that, and I do appreciate the opportunity to ask you a few questions here before we get you to all those folks. Just an overall, let's just take a step back and an overview of the first 15. If you're 6-9, where do you see your team lacking? Where would you like to see them? Let's start with that. Where would you like to see the most improvement right now? Where do you think it has taken you to this record so far?
Yeah, it's not the ideal start for your first 15 games. And there's some areas that I think will stabilize, and other areas that I just think we're better than what we're showing at the moment. So if you want to break it down one at a time, if you look at our rotation, 2 times through, it wasn't exactly what we were hoping for. 3rd time through, I think it's starting to stabilize itself and look a lot more or a lot closer to what we would expect. You look at that first series, and then the Atlanta series, and then having to go to Colorado, the Milwaukee. But here, the reality is Miles hasn't looked right the first 3 times out, and we're really looking forward to seeing him today, because this is a guy that's going to end well. And the first 3 weren't ideal, but he's too good to continue to do what the first 3 look like. Jack, last time out, if you want to just go 3rd time through the rotation, Jack last time out, 5 1/3, gave up 1 run. Monty last time out, 6 1/3, gave up 2 runs. Woody, 5 1/3, gave up no runs. And Matt, 5 2/3, and gave up 2 runs. So if you ask me last time through the rotation, is that more of what to expect? Yes. And I don't think we can argue that if those guys did that every time out, we'd be okay.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, totally. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, we can sit here and continue to like put it all in one big bucket and go, what the hell's going on? Which is one way to do it. I'd rather just take a different look at it and say, early on, did it look well? No, it did not. But our rotation is stabilizing based on the last time through the rotation. And then Miles going out today and throwing a good game would be a really, really good thing. So you jump over to the offensive side, and this is a very good offensive lineup. Timeliness has not been on our side as far as like the big hit. We've ran into some really bad luck in lining out in some really crucial situations with runners on 2nd and 3rd and runners in scoring position and taking good at bats and just right at people. So are we going to drive in more runs than we have over the last 2 weeks? Yes, that's a given, especially with the lineup that we had. Is Wilson going to hit at a much higher rate? Than absolutely. This is a extreme competitor who's proven year after year that he's an elite bat, and he's going to continue to be. So has it started off that way? No, but will it? Absolutely. So this is where getting Newbar back, and it's just, there's a lot of things that are starting to fall into place where at the last 2 weeks, no one's more frustrated in this clubhouse. I don't care how, like, trust me. But are things falling into place? 100%.
And when that happens, things get frustrating. That's when you really have to use that outlook that you just gave us to your entire team and say, you guys know, I mean, this is a good club. Now, obviously, you're going to push everybody in the direction that they need to be pushed. But as a whole, there's no reason for the team to start pressing that. Then things can really start to go awry.
Yeah, that's not even a question. This clubhouse is the thing, Tom. Like this is more an explanation for you in conversation with the fan base as far as like how our outlook of it. That clubhouse is focused on one thing, and it's competing. They're not going to get bogged down by the first 2 weeks of a very long season. Every game matters, and we take it very serious. But at the same time, if you think for 1 second that this clubhouse is down on what they're capable of doing, you're very far off.
Yeah, totally. So I appreciate that. And just so everyone's on the same page there with what's going on there. And also this, that you alluded to this yesterday. Well, you didn't allude to it. You directly stated it yesterday that available in the bullpen in the 10th inning, Jordan Hicks and Genesis Cabrera, period. And you had some pitchers that were unavailable. That is a combination of things. One, your guys have been going a lot, but two, early on, your starters weren't going the distance that they were that last time through the rotation, and that causes a little wear on the bullpen. Is that true? Is that kind of how that works?
A little wear. Yeah, a little wear is an understatement. It definitely wears your bullpen out, and it's not a bad thing. It's just the situation we were in. There's going to be times in the year where we're sitting there going, man, our pen hasn't got a whole lot of use because our starters are doing a much better job. And it's just, there's times where it just goes back and forth. Right now, that's not the case. Our bullpen has been used quite a bit. And sometimes you look at the bullpen and go, man, you got 8 guys down there. What do you mean the guy's not available? Based on how they're used, the amount of days they're used consecutively, 4 out of 6, back-to-back days, it ends up being where before the game, like we've already sat down and gone through it with our pen of who's available, who's not available for today's game. And yesterday was one of those days where you're sitting there and you have very limited innings. And when it came down to that 10th, you had a choice. You had Cabrera against a heavy right-handed part of the lineup that doesn't fare well for a lefty spot. And you had Hicks. Those were your only 2 guys left. We had no one else to throw after those 2 guys yesterday if you're trying to keep everybody healthy over 162 games, which is one thing we pride ourselves on. So, yeah, sometimes you're pushed into that situation. Is it something we desire? Absolutely not, but that's what we were handed yesterday.
And Hicks, everybody seems to have an opinion on Hicks. I don't really listen to all that. I just watch the game and see what I see so that I can ask you. And we see him throw all those sliders together. That tells me that his fastball he doesn't trust as much as his slider. And so he's throwing his slider. He's trying to throw it over for strikes. And a veteran player, Andrew McCutchen, got one.
Yeah, but that's the thing at the big league level. If you only have one pitch you can rely on, it makes it very difficult to get through an outing. And he was having difficulty the prior outing locating his pitches. He moved on the other side of the rubber, and yesterday he fell into the pattern that you just described in having confidence in just being able to land the slider, which was unfortunate. But, I don't disagree.
Again, no excuses are being made here, but yesterday you made the statement by getting tossed out of the game, how you felt about umpiring. Steven Matz was not happy either. Just overall, what happened there? And
are you just trying to increase my fine?
I don't want you to be fined. I'm trying to ask this in a way that you don't talk about the umpire anymore, so you don't get fined. But just, I think
no, it's been frustrating. Here's one way I would describe it. I'm really proud of our guys for as much as calls have not gone in our favor. Pitches in the zone that we're not getting that we should get, pitches out of the zone that are being called on us. If you look at that series, last series, Contreras got some calls on him that were just, they weren't good. And for him not to respond and stay mentally in the game, our guys aren't reacting. They're staying mentally locked in and they're not giving into that as an excuse. At some point, somebody has to say something about it. I'd rather be the one doing it and allow them to continue to stay locked in and to doing their job.
I appreciate the answer. I looked at the 9th inning yesterday, or the 10th inning rather yesterday, bottom of the 10th, and I really thought Nolan Gorman was going to get the hit. I mean, that's kind of where he is at this point. He is so locked in, and he hits a laser to second base for the final out. But I feel like, as far as your hitters are going, he is really taken off here. I mean, what do you attribute to all of that?
A combination of things. I think he, one, made a real change physically, mechanically, but two, it's given him the confidence of being able to just relax and be in control of his at-bats. And we're seeing a guy that's just has a quiet confidence to him right now. There's rhythm to what he's doing, and it's showing. But to your point, he got up there and did his job, which is hit the ball hard. Unfortunately, it was right at somebody. But he's continuing to take really, really productive at-bats.
What do you feel about Jordan Walker and where things stand after a remarkable 12-game hitting streak to start his career? You gave him that day's rest, and he was back in there yesterday.
Yeah, he did a really nice job of handling all of that. There's the pressure of living up to all the hype in his debut, and then to be able to put that streak together and have to handle everything that comes with that. I think he did a really nice job. We're going to see a guy that's going to settle in, and my hope is he got that out of the way, and now he relaxes and starts doing what he's more than capable of doing. But he's handled his first couple of weeks up here really, really well.
Gorman is in there today. He's batting 6 as the DH. Your outfield from left to right is Alec Burleson, Lars Nootbaar, and Jordan Walker. Newt is feeling better. How's he looking as he's returned from his thumb injury?
Yeah, he's feeling better. He's doing really well. He was able to get some at-bats, 5 at-bats in the minor leagues, and then faced Wainwright in that live BP. He got about 5 or 6 at-bats against him, and everything's feeling ready to go. He was able to get on base several times yesterday, and we're definitely excited about having him back in the lineup.
And again, going back to your outfield, you've got 5 of them now. With those 3, I mentioned, Burleson is in there along with in center field is Nootbaar and Walker at right. That leaves O'Neill and Carlson, who were incumbents coming in. How do you see that outfield mix right now and how you're mixing and matching everybody?
Yeah, it's definitely a competitive outfield at the moment, and there's no right answer. Honestly, these guys are all deserving of an opportunity, and we have a lot of good players that all play the outfield. And right now, Burleson's swinging it really well, finding the barrel often, getting Nootbaar off of the IL. We had expectations as to what he's capable of doing, both defensively and offensively for us, and he's going to get a shot at it. And then and Walker and Wright. So. The way Carlson and Tyler O'Neill have gone about it as of late has been really good and deserving of an opportunity. There's only 3 spots out there, and the DH is being held by Gorman, who's having productive at bats as well. So it's a good problem to have. It's not a bad thing to have a true 26-man roster where you can use all your guys and feel comfortable with it.
Yeah, and Gorman jumped in there at second base and actually turned a nice double play yesterday, too. Last thing for you, Ollie, and I really appreciate this. Just your bench, knowing that Joe McEwing is there for you. How did he do yesterday? What was the final discussion on Joe McEwing jumping in as manager of the club?
I love Joe. He does a really nice job with our staff and our players. That role is extremely important. It has to be somebody you trust. I'm more the guy that, once I get thrown out, it's your game, and he's awesome. I trust Joe a ton. So those are my comments on Joe.
I appreciate that. Thank you for the time. It's 10:30. We're going to get you right back to the clubhouse and visit with everybody. And good luck today against the Pirates.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Tom.
Great to have Oliver Marmol, the Cardinals manager, on the show. I like Drew, how he comes out and handles a lot of the topics right away. He addressed a lot of things, answered all of our questions, and the manager has a task ahead of him, and that is to keep this team rolling forward. After losing 2 out of 3 to the Pirates, they have a chance to split this series, get back on the horse, and then they play on Monday. They just keep on playing. They've got a lot of games consecutively here, and they'll have the Diamondbacks Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday before finally getting a day off on Thursday. And by the way, when you look at the standings in this National League right now, the Diamondbacks are not too bad. They are actually leading the NL West even after losing back-to-back games. They've lost consecutive games, but they are tied with the Dodgers at 8-7. The Cardinals are 6-9. The teams that are kind of struggling out of the gate here, the Phillies are 5-10. They are the defending National League champions. The Dodgers, as I mentioned, 8-7. The Padres are 8-8. And really, kind of wondering where their offense is. The Padres signed all of these people in the offseason and last season and made trades and did all of this stuff. And they haven't been able to really get rolling out of the gate. And then yesterday they ripped the Brewers 10-3. And that could be the start of something for them. They are really trying to find it. And, that's a team to watch out for. I don't think there's any, breaking news about that, but that shouldn't be a news flash to anybody. But, teams like the Cardinals, the Padres, they're not going to be down for long. I think we're all in agreement that the Cardinals are a good team. Right now, just not playing up to where they want to be. And we'll see if they can finish that today, get Miles Michaelis back to being Miles Michaelis, and continue what Ollie refers to as a rotation that is starting to turn the corner. We'll take a quick time out, come back, and we will hear a little bit more about City and what happened last night, and transition into the Blues, who I thought Doug Armstrong had a terrific press conference yesterday. I know it wasn't the greatest subject matter, but I thought he handled it really well. I thought he was very open, and it doesn't surprise me at all. So we'll hear from the Blues GM at 10:45. Back to City next, thanks to Ollie Marmol, Lutz Pfannenstiel at 11:15, John Mozeliak at 11:30. Battlehawks fans, don't worry. We're going to preview your game at 11:45 before we take you to Cardinal baseball at KMOX.
The Martins came over, we were having spaghetti when we suddenly noticed that we started getting sweaty. So we grabbed the keys and we ate it in the van. That's what my friend said, call Jerry Kelly, man, JerryKelly.com. Give him a call even though it's late, JerryKelly.com. Cause Jerry Kelly's always open up until late. Got certified technicians, I've been told, will help you when it's hot and help you when it's cold, JerryKelly.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on, JerryKelly.com.
Play ball.
Step up to the plate by donating your old car to Goodwill and get 4 box seats to a Cardinal game. Your car donation to Goodwill will help people right here in St. Louis. Donating is easy, towing is free, and you get a tax receipt. Plus, you'll get Cardinal tickets, compliments of the St. Louis Cardinals. Donate online at mersgoodwill.com. Must mention promo code Cardinals. Hurry while supplies last.
Over 30 years ago, it was that can-do spirit which helped the founder of Reinhold Flooring start the business, installing Reinhold quality carpet and beautiful flooring himself. Now, Reinhold Flooring is still family-owned and operated and winning St. Louis Magazine's Best Flooring Store 2 years in a row. With Reinhold Flooring, it's not about the sale, it's about the amazing floor to perfectly match your house and your life. Customer-driven since day one. Visit ReinholdFlooring.com. With so many ideas you can do it with a can-do crew at Reinhold Flooring. ReinholdFlooring.com.
KMOX Enter Service Weekend, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from thegelmanteam.com. If you want immediate cash for your home or to see what your home is actually worth in today's market, find out for free from the local experts. That's my friends Mark and Neil Gelman at thegelmanteam.com.
It's always a little scary when there's a power outage, right? Well, avoid that by calling Reinhold Electric to install an inline generator to your home or business or your vacation home. They do it all the time and they work all over the state of Missouri and Southern Illinois. They can get you hooked up with an inline generator to your place so you don't go without power. EV charging stations, it's a hot item and a lot of people are calling Reinhold Electric to get them installed. Call today, 314-631-1158, online, reinholdelectric.com. Tell them Bo sent you to Reinhold Electric.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
No child's life should be cut short. When children were being fatally injured by window blind cords, Underlaw took up the cause. We worked with brave families and took on the manufacturers to have dangerous cords banned. Today, all blinds are made without cords, and countless young lives have been saved. I'm Jim Onder. At Onder Law, we're making a difference, one case at a time.
Call Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 618 $9 That's 9 all zeros.
Conductor Laureate Leonard Slatkin returns to lead your St. Louis Symphony Orchestra through a musical experience steeped in Spain and the Spanish language, featuring Chabrier's España as well as Strauss's Don Quixote. Enjoy as special guest Joshua Roman's cello playing the famous knight and SLSO principal viola Beth Guterman Chu playing his trusted sidekick. This Saturday and Sunday, April 22nd and 23rd at Powell Hall. Tickets at slso.org.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman. Now, Y98 presents 90 and 60. A look back at the St. Louis City match against FC Cincinnati.
He went for the header. Now it's dropped. Oh, baby! He scores! Jared Stroud! Center in for Giacchini. Steps over one, fires a shot, deflects back into there. Yeah! In the back of the cage! Bounce into the corner for Stroud. Jared.
Oh! In the middle! A header ends up in the back! And City's up 3-0!
Oh, flicking on for Giacchini. Penalty. Oh, yeah! Giacchini!
He scores! It's 4-0 City!
Completely right. Was up.
Hit the goalie and boxes in! 5-0!
St. Louis City SC, a 5-1 winner.
This has been 90 and 60. This coming Saturday, St. Louis City heads to Colorado to take on the Rapids. Pre-game at 8, kick at 8:30 on Y98, St. Louis.
What a performance by City. Really just a terrific job across the board by this team. They really are made up of hungry players, a mixture of young players trying to make a name and some older players, not too old, but older players like Tim Parker, like Roman Berkey, who lead this team forward. They're now 6-2. They're at the top of Major League Soccer, but make no mistake about it, the star of this team so far is the crowd. And here is Bradley Carnell, the coach, on that very topic.
Yeah, thank you to the fans for staying the course and having patience. The weather gods weren't with us today, but we hope that we gave this fans something to celebrate. I don't see it as a 5-1 game. I just see this as us growing as a team and taking steps forward each and every single day. And if it means, we get a result, and it's for us, it's about the 3 points at home. We felt really bad the last time out against Minnesota at home. And that really stuck with us. We want to make this place a fortress. And we wanted a proud, strong performance, a gritty performance, a fighter's performance. And I think the boys showed some excellent resolve, excellent character. But again, credit to Pat Noonan. They have an amazing team. Obviously missing one or two pieces. But I said this week, it wasn't about the opponent. This was about us. And for us, really excited with the 3 points. And a big, massive thank you again to the fans.
Thanks, Coach. If you want to quickly unmute, and then we'll go to Tom. Perfect. Bye, Tom.
Two parts. How did you guys spend those 2 hours? And then what was the value of the importance of Jared's goal so quickly in the game?
Yeah, the guys keep themselves busy in the locker room. Obviously, there was some MLS going on the East Coast, so we were able to pick up some games and just have some good fun. I just heard some good spirit in the locker room, and it was our purpose to come out of the locker room as energized as what we were for 2 hours. It was incredible to see the boys just hanging about with a bunch of friends and just good teammates. Obviously to get the goal early on, it's kind of a massive weight lifted off the shoulders. You could feel the release of the group. You could feel the energy of the group, and they were really excited for that. And I think Jared obviously didn't play the last game, so I think that's his third goal now. I think it's Jared's a worker. He has some final third quality, and I'm happy he could reward himself today, which then inadvertently rewards the team. Later on, it sets the tone for the game.
That is Bradley Carnell, the head coach of St. Louis City SC. Jared Stroud with the early goal, and it did electrify the crowd. Drew Young, our producer, you were there. I was there as well. You were in that supporter section, and it was pretty well packed by the start of that match.
Absolutely. And the fans, they brought it even with the weather delay.
They did. They really did. I'll tell you my story real quick, and I told this earlier on Total Information AM, was that I took my friend Andrew Price, who has cerebral palsy, to his first ever match, along with his dad, Dave, and one of their neighbors. And the four of us went in, but the story begins with me standing outside the stadium just after 6 and knowing that I can't get in. And actually, it's a blessing in disguise that I didn't get in because I wanted to be able to help them when they arrived. I'm not sure what my availability would have been with all of us having to shelter in place. But anyway, I was outside the stadium. We were told you can't go in unless you have a premium ticket. I have a credential. I can get in there and go sit in the media area, but I decided that I would call my friend and see where they were in terms of getting downtown. They were already pretty far past Forest Park. So at that point, now we're talking like 6:30, close to 6:45. I'm not going to have them turn around and go home, knowing that this is going to be a long delay, but I can't have them drive back into the storm.
Right.
So they come down. I have them pull up. I jump into the car. We take them to the nearby parking garage that I had access to, and we sheltered there. Then we ended up, and when the rain let up, we thought they were going to open the gate, and a lot of people started to line up. So we did as well, under shelter, so we were able to stay dry. But they were not going to open that until all lightning was clear of the area. We're not going to go to the parking garage or anywhere else. It's pouring down rain and it's lightning. We're going to stay safe right where we were. So we did. We stuck it out. I did a couple of reports on KMOX. They opened the gates at 9, got myself some food and a nice cold beer, and watched City score 5 goals. I mean, it really was a fun night. I know it was frustrating for some people 2 ways. One, that you weren't able to get in when you wanted to, and you were stuck trying to find shelter outside. But it is Major League Soccer protocol across the board. When there's inclement weather, you have to shelter in place if there's a tornado warning, which they had, or if there's lightning in the area, which they had. You had to do that. So what was your experience in terms of sheltering?
So I was actually over at the pitch with Bill McDermott and then Brian, our engineer. So we were just waiting around. I was helping Brian set up, and I didn't know if we were going to have the game at all. But the fans stayed there. I mean, we really couldn't leave because if we left, we weren't getting back in.
Right.
And I was just waiting for
because there was a line to get into the pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you were in a great spot then.
Yeah.
A great spot to shelter. I know a lot of people were able to get to a bar in the seating area. But then the other frustrating thing for people was the fact that Apple TV was down early. I don't know if it ever came back or not, but I saw a lot of reports that they weren't able to see the first goal because Apple TV didn't have it. I can tell you Y98 did. So if you can always listen to us, Y98 FM. We'll have the game in the meantime. If you can't get that on TV right away, just know Y98 FM, 98.1 FM, Odyssey app, if you want to listen to the game, if your video feed's not coming in. At any rate, they win it 5-1 over Cincinnati. Cincinnati had only given up 4 goals all season, and they score 5. That is just a tremendous performance. Lutz Fan and Steel will be with us at 11:15. The Blues, they're used to being in the playoffs this time of year. They are not. It is over for the Blues. Doug Armstrong, their GM, next on KMOX.
Broadcasting from the Underline Three Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at ThrottleNet. So I'm so very proud to have represented the guys at ThrottleNet for all of these years. They are the IT geniuses. George and Mike are the owners. Fantastic guys. They can do all of your IT. They can do a portion of your IT. They have the best Apple support team. Their response time is under 2 minutes. Think about that, under 2 minutes. Something goes sideways with your IT, and they are solving your problem. And they're solving your problem within 2 minutes. Now, let's talk about cybersecurity. Most companies in St. Louis don't have cyber liability insurance. You get hit, you're on the hook, you're probably out of business. With ThrottleNet, if we represent you, we protect you. The first $500,000 that someone hits you for, which isn't going to happen, but if it does, we pay it. $500,000. That's what you're covered for with ThrottleNet. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS for all the information.
Spring has sprung, and we're ready for you at St. Louis Composting. This year, skip the garden center mayhem and conveniently order your compost, garden soil, or mulch for delivery straight to your home. Online at stocompost.com. That's stocompost.com.
Diamonds Direct is making it easier than ever to design your dream ring at your dream payment. Announcing all new aggressive financing options up to 60 months. These new creative plans allow you to pick your payment so you don't have to compromise on that engagement ring. We know that just like that ideal engagement ring, one size doesn't fit all. You want choices, alternatives, options, and as always, we want to empower you every step of the way. Diamonds Direct's multitude of finance options now allow you to spread your payments up to 5 years. Pay nothing down or pay a lot down. You decide. Get a $400 a month payment or a $200 a month payment. It's your choice. so you can get the most beautiful engagement ring and have money left over for other fun things like a tropical honeymoon or decorating the house. And by the way, it's not just for engagement rings. You can use these flexible financing options for wedding bands, designer jewelry, gifts for any occasions. At Diamonds Direct, we're always finding ways to help you make your money go farther. Your love, our passion. Get directions, showroom hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
It's time for kickoff at The Pitch Athletic Club and Tavern at St. Louis Union Station. The Pitch is the place for soccer fans with food you'll cheer for and drinks you'll celebrate with. Located in America's first soccer capital of St. Louis and in sight of City Park, The Pitch is open 7 days a week and open for early matches on the weekends. Bring your team for some match day fun and play hard. Welcome to The Pitch, soccer heaven in St. Louis. Visit our website at thepitch-stl.com.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Paramount Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit, and for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Brown. The physicians at Paramount Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Paramount Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now, 314-720-8081. 314-720-8081. That's 314-720-8081.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back. Great conversation with Ollie Marmol at 10:15, Cardinals manager. If you want to hear that, just go to the Odyssey app and review back to 10:15, 10:16 a.m. when we started it. We'll also have it podcast after the show at KMOX.com. Sports on a Sunday morning. Last a part of this hour right now, this is Blues general manager Doug Armstrong. I thought this was very well done by Army. Here he is in his season-ending press conference, which he wishes he had done 2 days earlier, he said.
Well, it started off, this would have been a way better interview if we had done it Thursday night. You would have got a lot more out of me, a lot more juicy stuff out of me than you'll get today, but appreciate you guys coming. Obviously, it's the ending of a very disappointing year for our franchise. Expectations were higher, goals weren't met. Starts with the manager, not obviously bringing the right players in, the right support staff in to get us to this point. My job now is to take time to evaluate where we're at, where our players are at individually, where they are collectively. Work with Craig on assembling a staff that can get us to a higher standard on a day-to-day basis. And what I said to the players, we're going to find out, and we're going to answer our own question: is this an aberration or is this a trend? And if it's a trend, we're all going to have really bad years moving forward. And if it's an aberration, we're going to move ahead. And I'm not talking about wins and losses. I'm talking about how we win and lose games. I'm talking about the competitive nature of our team. I'm talking about what we see each and every day on how we come to work and how we feel about when we go home from work. And I have a saying when I talk to the guys that when you're working with a high demanding coaching staff, there was about 15 minutes a night 66% of the year I loved, and that was driving home from the plane or driving home from the arena with a smile on my face, knowing that tomorrow morning I was going to get a call from an agent who was going to yell at me that this player didn't get enough ice time, or I was going to have a player in my office telling me how the coach screwed him. But for that 15 minutes a night, for 66% of the time, it was a great ride home. I didn't have nearly enough good ride homes, and I want to get back to enjoying at least 15 minutes a night next year. And it might, as I said, it might not be coming the wins and losses, but there's too many nights I went home feeling I let our fan base down by not creating a team that was competitive enough. And that's on me.
Doug,
So,
how do you, and one of us talked about it here earlier, get that culture back, the professionalism, maybe the talked about the little details. They all seem to slip this year.
well, it's going to start in training camp. I think we have to have a highly competitive camp. I think there has to be a standard that we set in camp. I also think it's our practice habits. There was too many practices where we would not shoot enough. We would miss the net in our shot attempts. We would overpass it. The next drill would go on and the same thing would happen. And then the next night we go 14 or 15 minutes with no shots on net. And we're going, geez, how did that happen? Or our defensive zone coverage, we would practice it and there'd be no competitive nature to our practice in front of the net. We would give up scoring opportunities in practice, and it was just acceptance. And that bled into our season, I believe. I think our training camp and our practice habits are going to be indicative of how we play each and every night. And it's our commitment to those things that are going to be important. And work has to be thought of as enjoyable, not a punishment. And I felt this was the first year that our group felt work was punishment. And, there's 16 teams playing that don't feel like that, but ultimately there's going to be one team that never thought like that once all year long. And I keep going back to the admiration I have for what Jim Montgomery, Don Sweeney, Cam Neely have built in Boston for a year. Now, is it going to be like that next year? I don't know. But all I know is this year is they've been the standard that we've all looked at offensively, defensively, competitively, that give you hope in hockey that those players still exist. And now they might lose 4 straight, but it's still not going to affect how I think they did this year.
You said that I didn't build a roster that was competitive enough. Obviously when you put it together, you have good intent. How do you compare the intent of what you did building the roster with how it played out and wasn't competitive?
I think, obviously, Jared, I'm not sitting here today shocked that we're not in the playoffs, so I probably have had some time to digest it. I haven't had enough time to go through it with the people that I really value their opinions on that, which is obviously starts with Craig. His job up until 2 nights ago was to prepare. Now he has to evaluate and self-evaluate, evaluate his staff, and evaluate the players on how it got to be non-competitive. I just think that we as an organization let our standards slip to what was acceptable in the things that the fans never saw, which was the practice sessions, the preparedness for practice. There's things that you see when the guys are going on the ice at 11 o'clock and I go get a coffee at 10:50 to go out and watch, and you see what guys are doing to prepare, I've never seen before. And those are things that we have to address. And they're little things. I'll share quite a few things. There's things that I don't understand. And I've said to some of the veteran players that this is the most disconnected I've felt with the largest part of our organization, our players. It started in the pandemic. That my kids, and I refer to my kids because they were, they're in their late 20s now. And so they don't know what an 18 to 25-year-old is dealing with now. And it's something to be totally different. And I have to spend the summer, and Craig and I have to spend the summer talking to people, professional people that know what these players go through to what makes them tick. Because what makes me tick was what my dad used to do, which was cuff me upside the head and kick me in the ass and not really care what I really thought about it. That's not working anymore. And I was able to understand what the 20 to 30-year-old was going through when I could see how my kids were reacting to things in life. I don't get it anymore. And it's my job to get it or get out. And that's my summer project is to work with people to find out how do you get to these guys, what makes them tick. Like an example for me would be players today. There's a group of players, and I'm not saying they're bad or they're wrong, or it's I have to understand how to get to them. Is they'll play 18 minutes to get an 18-second shift that can go on YouTube and get 1 million likes and think that was a good night. You know, I have to understand what makes them think like that, and how do we say you can have that, but can you also give us this?
That is very well said by Doug Armstrong. I think a lot of people can relate to that. It is one generation trying to understand another as he tries to reconnect with his players and make this franchise back to being the power that it was in the playoffs. A Blues team that he says he wouldn't be surprised if it made the playoffs and did damage, but he also reminds people that they are in a rebuild. And part of this is to understand what makes players tick. I thought very well articulated by Doug Armstrong right there. This is Sports on a Sunday morning, back after the news.
Did you know St. Louis leads the nation in rounding up at our local McDonald's restaurants? That small change can make a big difference by supporting the building of a new local Ronald McDonald House. Please learn more at rmhcstl.com.
Can you imagine a rainbow of flowers?
In a crystal blue sky.
Filled with music.
And all your friends are there.
And everyone is laughing with joy.
And the whole world is clean and sparkling and singing like Pavarotti.
Put on your wings and fly.
Invite us to your house.
We'll only be there a few minutes.
Our clean and shiny trucks haul away your distractions.
And leave your home sparkling with joy.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
As the familiar tune fills the air, joy radiates along with the heat of flickering flames. You make a wish for another year surrounded by the ones you love. With each passing year, the compassionate team at Prairie Cardiovascular will be by your side with heart care that allows you to focus on what matters most. A life well lived. Prairie Cardiovascular, here with you.
It's the spring clearance and warehouse closeout event at Miller Furniture and Mattress now through April 25th.
I'm Mark Miller, owner of Miller Furniture, your home for quality American-made furniture since 1927. One time each year, we open our Belleville warehouse to the public and offer huge savings on one-of-a-kind closeouts and overstocked items.
Plus, the savings continue in our Belleville, Lake St. Louis, and Ellisville showrooms. You'll save up to 75% off our list price on in-stock items.
We're opening our warehouse to the public for 2 weekends only, April 15th and 16th and April 22nd and 23rd. There are unbelievable savings opportunities. Hurry in, limited quantities available.
And our showrooms have never looked better with new and fresh looks on display, including our fully stocked Flex Steel galleries and our exclusive Amish-made furniture designs you won't find at any other store in the St. Louis area.
Right now, save 50% off select mattress floor models. You can also earn $200 of bonus cash towards any sleep system with select furniture purchases.
Don't miss the spring clearance and warehouse closeout event at Miller Furniture now through April 25th.
You know the Midwest Money slogan, isn't cash in the bank better than scrap in the drawer? This is Johnny Rabbit. Midwest Money, the oldest coin shop in St. Louis. Buying, selling, and trading since 1971. Silver and gold, coins, sterling silver, flags, medals, daggers, and more. Not sure what you have? Bring your collectibles to someone you can trust. Midwest Money. At the corner of Hampton and Holly Hills. You'll be happy you did.
KMOX KEZK HD2 St. Louis.
This is KMOX, the trusted voice of St. Louis. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Steel.
I'm Linda Kenyon in Washington. Several mass shootings this weekend. CBS's Mark Strassman has the latest.
Dadeville, Alabama. Population, roughly 3,000. The scene of a weekend Sweet 16 party that turned to horror.
4 lives tragically lost in this incident, and there's been a multitude of injuries.
Also overnight, 2 people were killed when someone fired shots into a crowd in Louisville, Kentucky. Still reeling from last week's bank massacre.
This has been an unspeakable week of tragedy for our city.
A fatal shooting in Minnesota last night. Here's WCCO TV's Pauline Lee.
One of the 3 law enforcement officers shot in the line of duty last night has died. That's according to the Minnesota Sheriff's Association. A Starbucks officer and 2 Pope County Sheriff's deputies, they were shot while responding to a domestic disturbance.
The suspect also killed. A survey looks at how Americans view guns. Jennifer DePinto is CBS's Deputy Director of Elections and Surveys.
Most liberals, along with most moderates, think the U.S. would be safer if fewer people or if no one had guns. By contrast, 4 in 10 conservatives think the U.S. would be safer if more people or if everyone had guns.
Demonstrators nationwide are calling on the Supreme Court to preserve access to the abortion pill mifepristone after conflicting lower court rulings.
Courts and judges should not be imposing their religious beliefs on the FDA and our scientific review of what medicines are healthy for patients.
That's New York Democratic Senator Kirsten Gillibrand appearing on CNN. So what is about to happen this week at the Supreme Court?
I'm Tom Foti. The sides involved in the abortion pill dispute have until Tuesday to file written arguments. Till then, the Supreme Court is keeping in place the current availability after lower court restrictions, including a total ban from a Texas federal judge.
What they're doing is keeping the status quo by pushing pause on all of Judge Kaczmarek's decision while it has more time to review further briefing.
Jessica Levinson of Loyola Law.
Japan's prime minister forced to seek cover after an apparent smoke bomb attack in southwestern Japan.
What appeared to be an exploding smoke bomb turned a routine campaign stop by Japanese Prime Minister Kishida into chaos. Local reports say the Japanese leader was about to speak at a fishing port in Wakayama when a 24-year-old man threw the projectile. The suspect was immediately subdued and the prime minister was unharmed. The incident comes less than 1 year after Prime Minister Kishida's predecessor, Shinzo Abe, was gunned down during a similar campaign stop.
CBS's Lucy Kraft. This is CBS News.
Find tools for the job site or your own backyard at over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at steelusa.com, STIHLUSA.com.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 11:03, we have cloudy skies and 45 degrees downtown at the Gateway Arch. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow. St. Louis police make a quick arrest in a downtown armed robbery case. Officers chased down 19-year-old Cameron Moreland shortly after he ran from the scene early Saturday at 14th and Clark. The victim, a 41-year-old man, told police Moreland held up a handgun and took items from his bag. The circuit attorney's office charged Moreland with first-degree robbery and armed criminal action. Considering the length and strength of last night's thunderstorms, the St. Louis area is fortunate that there were no significant injuries. National Weather Service meteorologist Jason Goslin.
We never want to see anybody's property get damaged, obviously, of course, either. But as far as you know, no reports of injuries or fatalities, which is welcome news.
Goslin says crews are in the field today looking at places like Valley Park, Missouri, and Hecker, Illinois, where tornadoes may have touched down. Meanwhile, progress continues to be made in restoring in both Missouri and Illinois. Another prosecutor announced Friday she's leaving Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner's office, citing a toxic work environment. That means Gardner only has 3 attorneys left on staff to try violent felony cases.
KMOX political analysts Hancock and Kelly discussed the matter on Total Information AM Sunday and what it might mean for Gardner's next run for office in 2024. Democrat Michael Kelly said Gardner's situation isn't much different than former President Donald Trump has.
Kim Gardner seems to be in free fall, and she's got this incompetence. She also has this ridiculous hero status that's being taken up by many who think she's fighting the good fight against people who are out to get her.
Republican John Hancock.
Ultimately, the problem isn't so much her as it is the people that are sending her to a job that she's clearly not capable of doing.
Gardner has pushed back against attempts from Attorney General Andrew Bailey to get her to resign. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
Pretty cool this afternoon with a high only around 52, windy with a passing shower possible. Overnight lows 43, but warming up tomorrow into the mid-60s with plenty of sun. Then we're getting back into the 70s for Tuesday and Wednesday, maybe some stray showers, but highs in the mid to upper 70s those days. Right now it is 43 in St. Peter's, 45 in Florissant. We have 45 downtown at the Arch. I'm Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
This is the Graybar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Now, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Bounce into the corner for Stroud. Jared.
Oh! In the middle! A header ends up in the back! And City's up 3-0.
Put that highlight on a loop. I love it. That's City SC and broadcasters Joey Zanaboni and Dale Shilley on Y90 at FM on the Kyle Hebert goal that put the City team up by 3. That was the one where you knew they were going to take it home. And it was that early in the match, but they still did it. In extra time in the first half, here's Hebert after a 5-1 win over Cincinnati.
Somebody online pointed out the beauty of you scoring on April 15th.
I'm a little embarrassed now that you bring it up.
Well, but this year it's the 18th, so
yeah. No, exactly. So if it was the 18th, then I should know better. Yeah.
The way you guys played tonight, and to play a game after coming off 2 wins, to play a game like this against a Cincinnati team that was the top. What does it say about this team?
Yeah, I think it shows our resolve. You know, we knew we weren't going to go through the season undefeated, and every team goes through a spell where the goals weren't coming, you know, and so to be able to put 5 past a Cincy team that really doesn't give up much, like, yeah, they were missing, 2 of their top players, but, you know, that defensively, that was the same structure was there. So that was big time for us, for our confidence moving forward.
Did the Stroud's goal in the 3rd minute, did that kind of just really open things up or get you, put you guys in a good place?
Well, I think we said before we wanted to give something for, 20,000 people stuck around 2 hours, thunderstorms and tornadoes, so it's give the fans something to remember. And I think we did that tonight.
Yeah. What did you do during the 2 hours?
I played a little chess with Ben Lund. Yeah.
Okay.
You can ask him about how those couple of games went. Yeah. A little bit of blitz chess, hung around, foam rolled. Yeah.
Still the reigning champion within the
I back myself. Yeah.
So defensively, you didn't get the shutout, but how do you guys feel? They had some chances in there, but how do you feel about the team's defensive play?
Yeah, overall very solid. Like they are a very good team. I think definitely some stuff looking back on it. You can kind of see it in guys' eyes. Like we were disappointed after the game not to get the shutout. That was something. We set goals for ourselves, and so to miss the opportunity for this one, it does sting a little bit. So it did take away some of that joy of the win, but still an overall great win. But it was tough to give up that goal.
Talk about your goal. What as the ball found its way back to you?
Just found a little space in the box. Amazing ball in by Jared. I forget who won the second phase to get over to Jared too. So great play by them, and then just special. So many being in St. Louis. So many family and friends here. It was amazing.
You got 2 goals.
Yeah, 2 goals. Yeah, let's keep it rolling.
I think we're good.
All right, that's it. That's Kyle Hebert. Terrific job by him and by City. Let's go back to Bradley Carnell and get some more from what he saw yesterday. This is Bradley Carnell after the match.
Disappointed that we couldn't keep the shutout for Roman.
Hey, Coach. Cincinnati has played a lot of tight, low-scoring games all season, and you guys break out a big lead fairly early into the game. How do your approach to tactics or substitutions change as the game moves on when all of a sudden you've scored 3-4 goals?
Yeah, the complexion starts to change, and a 2-0 scoreline, a 3-0 the scoreline can still be, if you shoot those early on, can still be a tricky result to manage to the end of the game, right? So, I don't think we're too ignorant or arrogant or, inexperienced enough to think that we'll just throw any changes and give guys, just a run out who haven't really played. But as the game progressed, we really wanted to get guys in, like Selmir Pedro, Akil Watts, Celio Pompeo. I wish I could have got him on a little bit earlier. But yeah, we know we got games coming up. We know we got midweek games coming up. So we wanted to make sure that we're keeping everyone fresh and ticking along. Just excited for the group. And like I said, just a little bit of a, sticks in my 5-0. I don't think it was a 5-0 game. I think they had 1 or 2 chances too many, in my opinion, as the game went on. We were a little bit loose. But then if it is a 5-0 scoreline, we want to keep it that way. We want to keep the clean sheet, and that's the only thing that's upsetting me right now.
8 different starting lineups for Bradley Carnell, and through 8 games, he's 6-2, number 1 team in Major League Soccer. Here he is after last night's 5-1 win over Cincinnati.
Coach,
a little bit more.
Leuven obviously deservedly got man of the match. And other than that goal, can you just talk about how good of a defensive performance he put in today? Because he obviously bossed that midfield.
Well, really good, because we spoke about our sixes and the connection of our sixes with Indy and Edu. A lot of their quality comes from their wing backs in their 3-4, 3 system. And if they're dribbling on the inside, Barriel, on the one side, Arias on the other side, this is a big quality of theirs to create overloads. And if we shift and connect, if we're one step too late, unfortunately, they can create some havoc. That was a real, proud moment for Edu to go as he did and get stronger actually as the game went on. Besides his goal, I think he was connected every single time. We speak about the weak side pivot and whatever. He just did enough to make sure that he's defensively solid. When we won the ball in transition, he was clean on the ball. And when there's a bit of an edginess in the game, then he's really strong and can ride tackles and challenges as well. So it was a complete performance.
Bit of soccer strategy there from Bradley Carnell. Edu would be Leuven, and Indy, he was referring to, Indiana Vasilev. Both of them had terrific matches last night in a late night game that City won 5-1 over Cincinnati. They started the game at 9:49 Central Time after a long delay. It was supposed to start at 7:30 due to lightning in the area, and before that, a tornado warning. Then they come out. Crowd was terrific, over 15,000 in a place that holds 22,500 and would have had 22,500 on a regular night. Still a raucous crowd, and they were entertained big time last night with a great win, 5-1 over Cincinnati. When we come back, the sporting director for City, Lutz Pfannenstiel, answers our questions. John Mozeliak, president of baseball operations for the Cardinals, will also be with us live. That's at 11:30. We'll get you set for the Battlehawks game this afternoon at the Dome. That's at 11:45. And Mizzou has landed a pretty big transfer to their college basketball team. We'll tell you about him before we go. Sports on a Sunday morning on KMOX. Don't go anywhere. We're sponsored by Gray Bar, and we're back after this.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to KMOX for all the news, sports, talk, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Paramount Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Brown. The physicians at Paramount Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Paramount Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now. 314-720-8081. 314-720-8081. That's 314-720-8081.
This is the year. This is your year. Don't you deserve to spend this beautiful spring, summer, fall season enjoying your outdoor space? You know, where you walk out the back door into your beautiful sunroom or screen room and then out onto the deck, down the stairs to your beautiful patio covered with a pergola, maybe a built-in barbecue grill with a fireplace or a pizza oven, or who knows what you're imagining as your perfect outdoor space. But you deserve it. And Chesterfield Fence and Deck can make it happen. Chesterfield Fence and Deck. They're truly one of the best. They've been around for 55 years, a third-generation family-owned company with a great reputation. So when you plunk down the money for this great project, you know it's quality and that it's going to last for years, and they stand behind everything they do. And if you mention me, Debbie Monterey, they'll offer you 48 months interest-free financing. That should certainly help you. It's ChesterfieldFence.com. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, From the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Pedro trying to clean one up on the edge of the box, trying to knock it past Baji, and that will take it to the final whistle. Wow, what a night. There was a whole lot of thunder, and yeah, it rained too. But that thunder is coming off St. Louis' feet this evening. A 5-1 win.
Joey Zanaboni right there, the play-by-play voice of St. Louis City SC. I'll add on to that. How about on a night when there was lightning in the area, City struck first and struck often. They scored 5 goals and won at 5-1, and we're joined by the sporting director, Lutz Pfannenstiel. Good morning, Lutz, and it is a good morning in downtown West, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely a very good morning. Also, good morning to you.
It's great to hear you. I think it's a proven fact that coffee tastes better the morning after a win. That was a good one right there for your team.
Yeah, it was a great result for sure. Very difficult conditions. Coming back from 2 losses was always that. There is no pressure, but we somehow we have high expectations of how we want to play, what we want to do. And so we really wanted to win as a team. And, the weather and the storm and the tornadoes or whatever was flying around there last night made it not easy, because sitting down there inside the changing room for more than 2 hours, not really knowing when it's happening, if it's happening, there was a lot of you need to keep the guys busy. Basically, it was all about mentality, all about keep the focus. It worked well, because I had that feeling when we went out there from the first, second onwards, we really wanted it. We wanted it more than Cincinnati yesterday. And to be fair, Tom, 5-1, it sounds like we hammered them, but the truth of the matter, it was not a 5-1 game. Cincinnati, they not have that many points, and they've not been unbeaten for so long. If they would be a bad team, I actually thought they played reasonably well, but we just struck like lightning yesterday, exactly in the right moments. And in the end of the day, it was a very important win.
You did. You really did, and they did. I agree. I was there last night. I was sitting in the seats last night, pretty close, and got to see the athleticism on display. And both teams, I thought, played well, but you got some great opportunities. That first goal is really a lift off your shoulders, isn't it? I mean, obviously there's work to be done. There's 87 more minutes and more. But to score within the first 3 minutes gives you some validation that you came out with energy and you were rewarded.
Yeah, that early in the game, only 3 minutes into the game, when you're still trying to find your rhythm, it was extremely important, because we knew that Cincinnati are very well organized defensively. They don't concede many. They conceded only 4 games in the previous 7 games. And it's all about their organization. So Pat Noonan does a great job there. So kind of breaking that momentum they always have in defending very well and keeping a 0 for a long time. That, of course, changed their match plan as well, and it played into our cards.
You said it to me last week that you don't just walk into Seattle and come out with a victory. That doesn't happen. You knew what you were up against all season long. All of these games have a unique challenge to them, but it does bear repeating how good Cincinnati is. I mean, they had given up 4 goals all season, and you were able to score 5. I mean, it just accentuates the point, doesn't it?
Yeah, they are they based on, as I said, organization. They're very disciplined. They have these really big, strong center backs. I think Klaus and Mika did a great job up there to really stress them from the first moment onwards. And we just I think I said it very early on. We wanted it yesterday a little bit more than Cincinnati did. I think that was the difference, and we scored also in the right moments. You said about the first goal very early. But then these 2 late goals just before halftime, that is this decisive moment in professional soccer. If you can score right before the halftime whistle or directly after, that somehow breaks the other team. It breaks their mind. It makes it very difficult. And our timing yesterday for the goals were excellent.
You have we talk about your team being fast and aggressive and, putting the pedal down and the athleticism, but I feel like your team is very physical. Do you feel that way? Or you definitely played a physical game yesterday?
If it's a rainy day, the field is wet. That's kind of a feast for a physical team, because you're getting in these challenges. It's you slide. It's kind of great. But you saw not just St. Louis City is physical, also Cincinnati is a very physical team. You felt it all the way. You felt that for 90 minutes. There was lots of fouls, nothing brutal, nothing out of order, but there was lots of fouls. There was lots of challenges. There was lots of fight on both sides. And I think the people appreciated it. It was fun to watch. It was quick. It was intense from both sides. And I just mentioned the people appreciated it. I appreciated even more that 17,000 or 15,000. I don't know how many people stayed back during a storm, a tornado warning, big rain, and a very, very late kickoff. Honestly, that's absolutely amazing. I really expected there will be 5,000 people out there when we came out, and everybody's back home watching it on TV. But no, it looked like everybody was there to be there for us, to be there for the players. And even cooler, after the game, everybody stayed back again. That was really unbelievable. It gave me goosebumps now talking about it, because you can't expect that from fans normally to stay back and wait for that long in kind of like a dangerous situation. But they did it, and they supported us, and they pushed us. And I think that was our thank you from the team to the fans who stayed back and watched their game, to give them these 5 goals.
It's important that they know that, and I know that they know you appreciate them, but when they hear that, they just come back stronger. When they know that they're a part of it, and when the fans around here realize that they're making a difference, then they come back and they say, okay, well, watch this. And so as the weeks go on, I think you're going to see things like that from this fan base. It's just how it's been through history. Lutz Pfannenstiel is with us, the sporting director. I was really amazed just from a building standpoint. I got a chance to chat with a couple of people who run operations there. There was very little water around the facility in the concourse. Everything really drained extremely well in a stadium that is wide open to the elements. But in particular, that field, I could not believe how good the field looked. I mean, what was it like for the players as a result? I know it's wet, but that is an amazing drainage system that you have there.
Yeah, it sounds funny, but it was perfect conditions. The field there was no waterlogs whatsoever. It was the ball was moving quick. It was like, it felt like it was just watered before the game when it gets sprinkled. But yeah, you're right. The water goes away very quick. And perfect playing conditions. The stadium can take a lot of water. We saw that yesterday, and that helps when you always have that perfect pitch under your studs to play. So that definitely was also a big compliment on everybody involved, on the groundsman and his team. That was absolutely brilliant. So thanks, Josh, as well, from this note here.
Lutz, so what does it say about your team that you have 5 different sources of goals, but also that Klaus plays the way that he played? He attracts so much attention. I really enjoyed watching him make opportunities for others.
If in the 78th minute, it's 5-1, and Klaus is sprinting like 80 yards up and down to get this ball back, because number one, he wants to get on the score sheet. Number two, he wants to work. So that shows about the character of this kid. It's never about him. It's always about the team. And still, he's so motivated to get on the score sheet as well. But I think, that's I love to repeat. I don't like to repeat things all the time, but I love to repeat that one. It's not just about some superstar mentality to have these 2-3 guys who are running everything. You see that on numbers of scorers, on numbers of assists, that we really split that well between the squad, and whoever comes on does a good job. And you look yesterday at the performance. I don't really want to pick our players, but the performance of Rasmus Alm, who was working, who was running, who was trying to get in there, and he had a great assist for the 4th goal. Then the shot which went back from the goalkeeper's head and within was his shot. So it's amazing to see how he also impacts the game now after coming back from injury. It also showed that we missed him last week in Seattle, and Bradley said it. If he would have pushed it, maybe we could have already had him on the field in Seattle, but I think it was the right decision to wait with the medical team. to get him now 100% ready. And I think all the team yesterday wanted it. Everybody performed, and it was a great victory again for the team. I don't like the word designated player, as you know. I like the name designated team. I stick with that because that's what we are.
Next for you is Colorado, the Colorado Rapids. As you go on the road, I will say this as the fans know this. The Rapids are owned by somebody that St. Louis fans pretty much don't like. But the first things first for you is to beat a Major League Soccer team. How good are the Colorado Rapids?
Yeah, we had yesterday time to watch them actually when our game was because it was the storm outside. So we watched the Rapids play yesterday against Charlotte. They drew 2-2. They played a good game. It's a team which is normally you see them in the lower part of the table, but they are decent. They have lots of experience. It's difficult definitely to play away from home against them. So another big challenge coming up, but we want to race to that challenge. And you mentioned it for us. For us, it's just another game, another weekend where we want to get 3 points, to work hard, to stick to our principles. But of course, there is a little bit of a pinch there as well with the ownership there in Colorado. And if we can make people in St. Louis happy, very happy, to take away 3 points from Colorado because of the ownership there, then, we just will try our best week in, week out, and that will not be different in Denver.
Well, you're making a lot of people happy around here, that's for sure. Top of the table with a 6-0-2 record, 6-2-0, I should say, with 18 points, and you'll be visiting Denver. That game is on Saturday night. Blues fans have been known to go to Denver to see the Avalanche. I have a suspicion you'll get some City fans hopping on that flight over to Denver to see you on Saturday. Congratulations on a great win last night. It was an enjoyable experience. Looking forward to the next one, Lutz. Thanks very much.
Thanks so much.
That's the sporting director for St. Louis City SC, Lutz Pfannenstiel. Always great to visit with him, win or lose. And in this case, they win, and they win a lot. It's 11:28. Cardinals would like to start winning again. We'll get to John Mozeliak, the president of baseball operations, next.
Countdown to Earth Day. Just 6 days to go. Buy a water filter, and you can save hundreds of disposable plastic bottles. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Katie Collier, owner of Katie's Pizza, turned a Kickstarter campaign into a pizza legacy. She shares her story on our latest podcast, PNC C-Speak, the language of executives. During COVID, Katie's Pizza continued to beat the odds, creating a thriving frozen food business and now working on a third location. PNC C-Speak shares the stories and innovative approaches of successful business leaders to give you ideas that spark growth in your business. Listen today at KMOX.com/PNC C-Speak. PNC C-Speak, the language of executives.
Are you suffering from hearing loss, but you're afraid that hearing aids will make you look older? The Better Health Institute in Washington, D.C. says this is one of the top myths surrounding hearing loss. But the fact of the matter is, nodding your head and smiling when you have no clue what someone is saying is going to make you look much older than the largest hearing aid. So it's important not to use this as an excuse. It is important to see a clinical audiologist. Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. I recommend Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center with 3 convenient locations, Creve Coeur, Florissant, and in St. Peter's. Dr. Bosler is an expert on the latest technology, and she carries and services the top hearing aids. Plus, I've known her for years. She cares deeply about her patients. Make an appointment today. Call 636-441-7470 or visit online, theaudiologycenterstl.com.
Another great one for you, ladies and gentlemen. The new joke, Uncle Sam's short form for taxes. The first line, how much did you make? The next line, send it all in.
That's really not that funny. But it's what a lot of people do in retirement. They take money out of their 401k or IRA and end up sending it in when they pay the taxes. Steve Hall of the All Financial Group believes there's a better plan for your retirement than Uncle Sam's plan. In fact, he invites you to attend an exclusive educational event focusing on taxes in retirement. What if the savings you realized would allow you to retire early? Wouldn't you want to know about all that now? Join Steve and the team for this upcoming event on April 25th or April 27th. This event is complimentary, but you must qualify to attend. Call 636-230-8824 or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, LLC, BWA, a registered investment advisor. BWA and All Financial Group, LLC are independent of each other. Insurance and annuity products are offered through Stephen All, Missouri license 8039738.
Welcome back to the Graybar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
We're back on the show. It is Graybar Sports on a Sunday morning. We are the home of the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals take the field today at 1:15 against the Pirates, and we say good morning to John Mozeliak, the president of baseball operations. Good morning, Mo.
Good morning, Tommy. How are you?
Doing well. Time to get after it again. Back on the field, a new day, and moving forward. It is a long season, isn't it? When you look back at 15 games so far, what do you see overall from this club?
Yeah, I guess if I had to summarize it right now, it's just been a lot of inconsistencies, right? When you think about it from a starting pitching standpoint, the days we sort of get the low number put up by our starters, we're just not scoring. When we are scoring, we tend to win those games. And then I think, just the availability of our bullpen has just not gone as we had planned. In other words, the usage, the way we've had to go with things, losing guys to illness or just a little bit of dead arm where they're just not available on a given day. We just haven't quite gotten into sync where we've been able to get on that roll where we have everything sort of clicking at the same time. So as I look back on these first 15 games, I certainly hope it's not an indicator of what our season is going to look like. I think there's some internal adjustments we need to be making and some things we need to do, and we'll continue to work on that.
I know you continue to discuss those things internally, but just giving us an idea of what could be leading to the bullpen where, obviously, starting out, it is the early part of the starting pitching. Do you feel like, Ollie did mention this last hour, that the starting pitching is starting to stabilize a little bit? I mean, we are seeing longer starts out of your starters.
Yeah, I agree. I think the biggest thing too is when you're down 3-0 or 4-1 after 2, that's also just a different feel to how you're playing. And we were seeing that a week ago, whereas now our starters are keeping us in games, they're giving us a chance, and all of that's positive. But the question was how do you see the club right now? And that's just sort of the ebb and flow of what we're doing. And as you can imagine, over a long season, sometimes you get off to a nice start, you have a good April, but then this happens to you in May or this happens to you in June. And just as a reminder, sometimes it happens a couple times in a season. So, just sort of working through all that and hopefully we can kind of get into that situation where our bullpen is in a good spot, where our starters are taking us deep, and we get into that where we can protect guys and not really feel like we have to hold people out just because of rest or soreness. So these are the things we're sort of just going to have to navigate. And, overall, I still believe in this club. I still am excited about it, and certainly looking forward to brighter days ahead.
You mentioned also, falling behind, and the offense, as good as it is, just hasn't been able to cash in this series. The runners in scoring position going into today, I believe, was 5 for 34 or something along those lines. I mean, it does happen. What do you see there from your offense?
Yeah. So one of the things that you do need to have happen is have a little luck, right? In other words, the good thing is we're hitting the ball hard. We're just hitting it at people. So if you tend to hit the ball hard, you tend to end up having better luck, or you make your own luck. So I'm not sure I would change a whole lot, other than if I could, put a little more luck into our hitters, I would give them that. But just keep doing what they're doing. Over 162, it's going to pay off.
Your outfield includes Lars Nootbaar now. That's got to be a positive development. So far, so good on Lars, based on his return yesterday. Everything looking good with the thumb?
Yeah. Obviously this was a little longer than we anticipated, but here we are, and it's nice to get him back, and hopefully, he can find himself where he really can end up being where he was prior to the injury, and because he was in a good spot, he had a lot of confidence. And hopefully we can get him going, and he can be a key contributor in that outfield.
It does create that interesting mix in the outfield, doesn't it? You got a bunch of them going. I mean, Burleson's been pretty good. He ends up, at this point hitting 293. So now you have 5 outfielders. We were talking about 4 earlier. We knew Burleson was going to be part of it, but now, to be honest, you do have 5 you can mix and match. How do you see that? For example, today you have 2 of those incumbents watching Burleson, Nootbaar, and Walker. It's interesting.
Yeah, I think, one, we're trying to give T.O. a little extra time, but you're right. It's guys are going to be competing, and we went into camp telling people this was going to be a competition, and sometimes in season that doesn't change. And so I think like what the sort of the chore or what Ollie will be pressed for is, how do I keep people engaged? How do I balance out those at bats? But probably the simplest answer is as a manager, you tend to go with the hot hand. And so, hopefully some of these guys can kind of take that and run with it, and we'll see. But the mix and match will be there, and certainly left versus right will also be something that mixes into that equation.
Here's a positive development in your offense. Nolan Gorman, Jordan Walker, of course, 12-game hitting streak speaks for itself. Amazing, incredible start to his career. Meanwhile, Nolan Gorman just rolling right along here, hitting 326. And in that 10th inning, as hard as that game was yesterday, here's Nolan Gorman with a chance to make something happen. I thought he did. He just caught one right to the second baseman. He hit one right to the second baseman.
He's making those adjustments, and that's what you want to see out of a young player too. He's a talented young hitter. Obviously, he's a first-round pick. He's a guy that I think a lot of people understood why we took him. You see the power, but I think the thing that a lot of our takeaway, what we're seeing from him this year, is just the ability to make adjustments in his at-bat, and that's a good thing. So hopefully he can continue to do that, and I think he'll be a great resource for us moving forward.
We saw earlier in that 10th inning, Jordan Hicks and giving up the runs. We saw him throw all those sliders at once. It indicates that maybe he's just not as confident throwing his fastball for strikes. Where do you see Jordan Hicks right now, somebody that's been a big part of this organization?
Yeah, I'm not sure where I see him. In other words, missed time in Colorado with strep. I don't know how that's affecting him. Obviously, prior to that, he was having issues with his command. When you're a part of a bullpen, you have to have usable stuff. I mean, that's the tricky part of managing. And so, I hope from a physical standpoint, he's okay. I do know, our medical team will be with him today just to make sure where he's at. But, clearly, when you think about bullpen usage, and that's really my point I was trying to say earlier, is like when you don't have somebody available and your bullpen is actually short and you're pitching in Colorado, it just puts so much more stress on everybody else. And these are small little things that I don't think, maybe necessarily our fan base realizes, but pitching at altitude, putting that kind of demand on you, and then not having people available just makes it really difficult. And that's one of the reasons, like, we try to give Helsley 2 days off in a row, let him try to catch his breath. But these are the challenges, and every team has to go through them. So these aren't like excuses, but we're having to go through them earlier in the season than maybe we had hoped for.
Well, that's always why we appreciate having you on these Sundays, because we can really get some insight into those daily things that you measure and look throughout a 162-game season, plus spring training, plus, God willing, postseason. This is just a long, long season that you have to navigate. So we appreciate all of that. Thank you for being with us. Good luck today against the Pirates.
All right. Well, thank you, Tommy, and talk to you next week.
Yes, absolutely. There's President of Baseball Operations, John Mozeliak. A lot of things this team is sorting through right now, without a doubt. It's 6-9. Going into today, Miles Michaelis. They'll try to get him back to the Miles Michaelis we know. That start so important today as the Cards take on the Pirates. 1:15 first pitch. We'll have it right here on KMOX. There's a lot going on. I mean, City with a great win last night. We've talked a ton about them. Let's not forget about the St. Louis Battlehawks, who are playing their most important game of the season so far today. We'll tell you why that is. And then finally, Mizzou lands a transfer. I know I teased this earlier. I have very good knowledge about this transfer. I'll tell you what he does for Mizzou next on KMOX.
Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? Trust Overhead Door Company of St. Louis to keep your garage door reliable. Maybe the old weather stripping needs replaced to keep out the cold and hot air. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, trusted here since 1926. For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
KMOX at your service weekend, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
I feel like I should call him.
Why would you call him now? Everything's working beautifully.
Jerry Kelly is St. Louis's favorite heating and cooling company. Mine too. They make me happy and comfortable every day. That deserves a phone call once in a while.
Jerry Kelly's your favorite because they're fast.
They're my favorite because they got it going on.
Nope. They're our favorite because they're good. Since they fixed it, it has stayed fixed.
I still feel like I should call.
Why don't you just visit
JerryKelly.com?
Over 30 years ago, it was that can-do spirit which helped the founder of Reinhold Flooring start the business, installing Reinhold quality carpet and beautiful flooring himself. Now, Reinhold Flooring is still family-owned and operated and winning St. Louis Magazine's best flooring store 2 years in a row. With Reinhold Flooring, it's not about the sale, it's about the amazing floor to perfectly match your house and your life. Customer-driven since day one. Visit ReinholdFlooring.com. With so many ideas you can do it with a can-do crew at Reinhold Flooring. ReinholdFlooring.com.
Broadcasting from the Underline Three Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. We'll be planting and cleaning up at Tower Grove Park from 10 to noon on Friday, April 21st. It's our one day, one thing. Tower Grove Park is a National Historic Landmark park featuring grassy meadows, 7,000 trees, and flowers that make Tower Grove Park an important urban green space in the heart of South St. Louis. What's your one thing? Join us one day, one thing at Tower Grove Park, Friday, April 21st. Check out our station website for more details.
The best donuts in Missouri in 2023 can be had 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at Old Town Donuts. For more than 3 decades, get a dozen for less than $10 with a coupon from the Old Town Donuts Facebook page in Florissant and Cottleville.
You know, the Midwest Money slogan, isn't cash in the bank better than scrap in the drawer? This is Johnny Rabbit. Midwest Money, the oldest coin shop in St. Louis. Buying, selling, and trading since 1971. Silver and gold, coins, sterling silver, flags, medals, daggers, and more. Not sure what you have? Bring your collectibles to someone you can trust. Midwest Money at the corner of Hampton and Holly Hills. You'll be happy you did.
Tamara Green, aka Strawberry, was a beautiful, young, exotic dancer and mother of 3 who was gunned down months after she was connected to a wild party at the Detroit mayor's mansion. The party's rumor, her murderous fact. Who Killed Strawberry is Odyssey's riveting new true crime podcast. 20 years later, Who Killed Strawberry is still a mystery, although there are lots of theories about why she was killed. Was it connected to the party, to a grudge, or to something else? Listen on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Prepare an emergency kit, sign up for local alerts, and make a family communications plan. Get started today at ready.gov/plan. A public service message brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to the show. It is Sports on a Sunday morning. It's great to be with you. It's 11:45. We are just a couple of hours away from the St. Louis Battlehawks. I know our tailgaters are out and about in downtown St. Louis, mixing in with Cardinals fans, getting ready to head to the Battle Dome. I love how they call that, the Battle Dome. The Battlehawks are 6-2, just like St. Louis City. And this is the second meeting in the XFL between the Battlehawks and the Seattle Sea Dragons. They are 5-3, and the third meeting between these. So the second meeting in the XFL between the Battlehawks and the Sea Dragons. St. Louis has won both of the previous matchups, winning at home in 2020, 23-16. And 20-18 on the road in week 2 of this year. So again, this is the third meeting between the two. They played back a few years ago and once already this year. Battlehawks hold a 1-game lead over Seattle for the second and final playoff spot in the XFL North Division. So this is what this means. The Battlehawks will play the second game of this 3-game homestand today against Seattle. They are the XFL North Division rival, the Sea Dragons. They sit in third place in the division. A win over Seattle would clinch a spot for St. Louis in the XFL North Division Championship game at 2:00 Central Time on April 30th against the DC Defenders. Between then, there's the game today against Seattle. You got to win it to get to that XFL North Division Championship game. You'll clinch a spot. You'll play next week. There's an 11 a.m. Central kickoff time on Saturday, April 22nd, against the Orlando Guardians at the Dome. And the game will be televised on ESPN for that one. Tickets available at xfl.com/tickets. Let's get those tickets up for this team. It's fun to see St. Louis shown as a football town on national TV. I just love that St. Louis is playing football on ESPN. And I understand, I get it, that it's not the NFL. But as I said last week, it's St. Louis. It is a major league crowd. So you can talk all you want about the XFL. They're putting on a show. The fans are. This is about them. Just like City, it is about them. Until we start to learn more about the teams and they develop a story. Right now, the story is St. Louis in both cases. So that's really it. Anthony Becht, appreciate what he's done as a head coach. He understands. He's been here. He was a St. Louis Ram. He gets this crowd. He understands this market. He also understands football, and he's got a good coach coming to play him, by the way. Former Rams coach, Jim Haslett. Haslett's the coach of Seattle, and he used to coach in the Dome. So I find it really fun, what the Battlehawks do. I think it's just good, wholesome fun, Drew, in downtown St. Louis. And the Battlehawks combined attendance for their first 3 home games, 109,345. Those are the 3 largest crowds in XFL history right here in St. Louis, the last 3. And they have another chance to do that today, put another 35,000 plus in there. I mentioned earlier, you're going to have 75,000 people in downtown St. Louis today going to games, 40,000 at Busch Stadium and 35 plus. Battlehawks fans, the top 3 attendance marks in XFL history. In week 4, the home opener, remember they didn't play at home until week 4, they put 38,310 in there against Arlington. The next week against DC, the team hopefully they'll be playing for the XFL North Championship on April 30th, 35,868. In week 8 against Vegas, 35,167. So it's gone down slightly, but the Battlehawks held the previous top mark. That was 29,554 for that home opener that we all went to. Felt like all of us were there. I was there, but in 2020. So they've actually increased attendance since that wild, raucous atmosphere that day, and they continue to add. So if you want to go, there will be walk-up, but I'd go to xfl.com/tickets and just grab some, whether it's for today. They don't play till 2, or next week against Orlando, or don't let St. Louis have a playoff game at home. Oh, my goodness. Will that be fun? And it is, it is the fact that it's on ESPN on the mothership is important. It is. It is a league that ESPN has put out there to give it a lot of exposure. So St. Louis fans are taking advantage of that too. They're dressing up. They're having fun. They're showing off their city. They're drinking adult beverages. They're partying. And perhaps that can help that side of downtown. I just the fact that City is doing what it can do for downtown West, my hope is that the Battlehawks can do the same on that side. I hope this lasts is what I'm saying. I hope the XFL, I hope this lasts somehow, some way. It's just too much fun. Don't take this away from us again, please. So hopefully it does all take place. Okay. Good luck to the Battlehawks against Seattle today. I have 6 minutes to go through everything else in sports. We've talked Cardinals, we talked City, we talked Blues, we talked Battlehawks. Let me venture into Mizzou basketball for just a minute. Mizzou is one player stronger. They have landed a transfer by the name of Tamar Bates. He is a wing, and he transferred from Indiana. This is where I come in. I can tell you about Tamar Bates from my perspective. Tamar Bates is a scorer. Now, he gets to play closer to home now. He's from Kansas City. He was a 4-star recruit out of Kansas City. He's good. He's 6'5", but to me, he plays taller than that because he has a big wingspan. He is a good defender. I don't fault him at all for his effort on defense. I think when Indiana put him in and had to guard good players, he held up his end of the bargain. Where he falls short is that he does tend to turn the ball over and make some poor decisions in terms of shooting the basketball. When the ball goes in the basket for him, it comes in bunches. He is streaky. He absolutely can score in bunches. There's no question about that. He can score from the outside and he can slash to the basket. But when it doesn't go well, he will post 0 for 6, 0 for 7, 0 for 8. I mean, and he has a flat shot. He's a lefty shooter. He has a flat shot, I feel, from the outside. It doesn't have enough arc on it. And if you're playing on this Mizzou team, you're going to have to knock down open threes. They set this up with a 5-out offense that Dennis Gates has designed to shoot open threes or contested threes, but mostly they're trying to get you open for a three or a lane to slash to the basket, which he can do. So I do think that he's a good fit for the offense, but what I get concerned about is that Bates can go cold for a long period of time. Now, you'll look at his percentage, and in the last 2 years, this past season, he was 37% from three. You'll say, well, that's good. What's wrong with that? As I mentioned, he has, I feel like, shot Indiana out of some situations with some streaky bad shooting. Now, conversely, he can and did put Indiana in good positions by having really good games. If Bates had a good game, Indiana had a good game because they would bring him off the bench. He was going to be one of their carryover scorers from last year. Although he only averaged 5 a game, he was somebody, again, that could put up double digits in a blink if he needed to, but he could also go cold. And they're not bringing him back in Indiana. Now, he went into the transfer portal. I think that, fans got a little frustrated, but at the same time, good kid, worked hard. Hopefully he works out for Mizzou because, they're going to go in with this style of play for Dennis Gates, and these players who come in have got to be able to knock down shots. I don't know that you realize how good Mizzou was last year with regard to hitting the open three and the experience that they had in a very short time gelling together.
Is there a player that he plays like Iguodala or something like that?
No, he's not that good.
Well, stylistically.
Yeah, who does he play like? It's hard to say. He's again, I think a decent ball handler. I wouldn't trust him to run point necessarily. He's a wing who trends more as a guard. He's not going to go in and bang down at the post, but he can go up and get a rebound. He can stick to you defensively. I didn't see a guy who goes up and blocks shots necessarily, but his length as a guard can cause problems defensively. Where I see a downside, again, is there was some frustration in terms of flow of offense that sometimes he would disrupt the flow with an ill-advised shot. I hope that Dennis Gates can insert him into this offense. And maybe it was just a bad fit with Indiana. Maybe he just didn't fit in the style that they were trying. They were running a lot through the post, through Trace Jackson Davis and through Race Thompson. But, I'm a Mizzou fan also. I mean, obviously I'm an Indiana alum and I love Indiana with all my heart, and I always will. They'll be my number one. But I grew up a Mizzou fan, and Mizzou and SLU are very close to me. And I want them both to be very good. So I'll be pulling for Tamar Bates to be great. And maybe he'll be a great fit in this system. I really hope so. I'm just kind of giving you the perspective of somebody who watched basically every game that he played. And when you do that, you actually, as we know as Cardinals fans, sometimes you do focus on the negative. You'll see the player and be like, he's great, but he does all this wrong. So just keep that in mind, that go in with an open mind with Tamar Bates. Know that he's going to have some games where he just doesn't have it, and we'll see how the coaching staff reacts to that. But there will be some games where he lights it up, and I think that's a positive development. I think overall it is a good win for both, for Mizzou and for Tamar Bates, to get a change of scenery and to go to the University of Missouri. So good for him. I'm happy for him. Now, a couple of other things happening in sports today. I do want to remind folks that the NASCAR Cup Series is coming soon. It is June 4th, and tickets are on sale at Worldwide Technology Raceway's website. They have the Confluence Music Festival filled with great new artists that you should be able to keep an eye on, and including one that you've known for a long time, Dierks Bentley. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. That's at www.raceway.com. I'm partnering with Worldwide Technology Raceway again this year and working with them on NASCAR. And I thought last year was an absolute blast. Things are trending. I just don't want you to forget about it. Because last year when it came down to it, I got a lot of texts on the day of the race or the day before about tickets, and they were gone. I mean, there's just nothing you could do about it. It's sold out, and everybody had this FOMO. Like, well, I should have gone. But I just wanted to give a little reminder that we'll get Chris Blair back on the show also, maybe next week. It's 11:57. The news is next. Thanks for joining us.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from the Gelman team of eXp Realty. Selling your home, every situation is unique. Find the best options that are right for you from the real estate team who offer more options. My friends Mark and Neil Gelman. Check out the only agents that I trust at thegelmanteam.com.
Hi, it's Scott and Andrea from Best Buy Flooring. Andrea, what are you doing on that pogo stick?
Scott, I'm springing into savings at Best Buy Flooring.
Right, because we have new spring deals on carpet, luxury vinyl, ceramic tile, carpet tile, laminate, sheet vinyl, and hardwood.
Don't forget free financing for qualified purchasers.
2 locations, 7301 North Lindbergh in Hazelwood, Missouri, and 1851 West US Highway 50 in O'Fallon, Illinois. Open 7 days a week. Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy Flooring.
If you're thinking about doing a little home improvement, especially one